A lot of people assume that because you have a child with disabilities that automatically you get financial help, you're going to get housing. It's not what happens. My name is Nancy Lemus, and I am the parent of Christopher. Christopher was born premature at 29 weeks. He was 2 pounds, 13 ounces. 2 weeks later, he ends up getting a staph infection. This is where we believe Christopher ended up with his traumatic brain injury. 3 months later, when it was time for Christopher to come home, he came with oxygen, an apnea monitor, pulse ox monitor. He didn't have the functions of feeding correctly. And this was our entire life for the first 1.5 years of Christopher's life. I used to be a general manager, but I had to resign because Christopher needed me and I couldn't balance both things. I ended up going into the fine dining industry and being a server. It's more flexible, but I can't commit because I'm not guaranteed that Christopher's gonna have care. We have had months where Christopher has had over 60 open shifts, and I had to cover those 60 open shifts. If Christopher doesn't have a nurse, it's me. Social Security. For somebody like Christopher, it's called supplementary security income. For him to qualify, I have to make money below a threshold that would put us below the poverty line. You can't have money in the bank. You can't have savings. Christopher can't have anything that totals up to $2,000 or more because he would lose his Medicaid. I came across a mother who was gracious and kind, and in 10 minutes, she told me how this kind of Medicaid wasn't on my income, but on Christopher's needs, and who I could call to help me fill out the application, and that he could go to Nurses and Kids. You have to have the knowledge, or you have to have somebody who's willing to share that information with you. Once he got the Medicaid, he had access to a different set of eyes. He had nurses, he had therapists, he had people there. If he didn't have the Medicaid, Christopher would have died. It's super hard for families where English is a barrier, and a lot of times they actually don't even have access to the services or are never told of the services. People with disabilities without a status, they're getting crumbs, they're getting hand-me-downs, they're getting medical equipment from people that are passing away. I have seen parents that have turned to drugs because there's no outlets for them, there's no respite for them, and that's why it's so important that we continue to advocate, that we continue to express our needs.
Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security are what we call in the disability community Lifeline services. But you can't have more than $2,000 to your name. I don't know anybody who can live on $2,000 to their entire name. It's keeping people poor. It's keeping people from realizing their full dreams and their full potential. Because the choice is, do I remain in this financial situation so that I can keep these services, which in many instances help my child stay alive? Or do I go out and pursue my dream? It shouldn't come down to that.
If you have somebody like Chris, who qualify for Medicaid and get Medicaid services, money saved up for your college, your wedding isn't there because you're not allowed to have it. They will always have nothing. There's all sorts of little rules and regulations that govern our lives that keep us down, keep us separate, and keep us out of society and poor for our entire lives.
Paid family medical leave was introduced by Senator Sarah McBride this legislative session, and it has passed. It's important because we know individuals who work 3 or 4 jobs just to make ends meet. They work overtime at their jobs because they don't want to be fired, not if, but when they're going to have to call out to take care of their medically complex child. And the choice there is literally, do I go to work or do I keep my child alive? That's why this is important.
Children in Delaware have skilled care, home health aides, but they don't have anything where their parents could be paid. We're hoping that at some point we could change this at a federal level so it's not just certain states that have these programs. I would love to see that the barriers and the chains that hold people with disabilities down are no longer there. I would love to continue traveling with Christopher. We have a couple cruises that were canceled, and we have some credit. We have credit, we have debt, we have it all. But we don't have savings. For me, disability pride means definitely dignity, respect, and acknowledging people, to never assume that because somebody doesn't use traditional language, it doesn't mean that they don't understand the world around them. Christopher is very well aware of what goes on around him. He smiles, he frowns, he acts like he's asleep when he doesn't want to do things. Just giving people the opportunity to be part of their community, to be inclusive. Sometimes I question myself and I ask myself, do I push him? But then every time I turn around and look at him, he's smiling at me. And then that just brings me back to that whatever I'm doing is okay. There are going to be times where you're going to feel like you're going to drown, but you just can't give up. You can't give up. There will be somebody there eventually to help you, to guide you, to get you where you need to go. But just don't give up. Don't give up on them.